Now. If you don't want to be on the recording, just go ahead and hit that little camera button at the bottom left, and it'll put a slash through yours, and you will not be shown. So for those that don't know, I am Dustin Moody. I'm the athletic director at Yorktown Middle School. I also teach BIT. Just glad that you could all be here for this weird meeting. Been doing these since the fall. It's really not that bad. It's, for somebody that's like me, a little more introverted, this is kind of nice. But it also is great because, like I said, the meeting will be available on YouTube afterwards and makes it a lot easier. So the first thing I want to talk about here is concussion protocol. Last year, as many of you are aware, we used impact testing. That is not happening anymore. So we are not doing impact testing. The reason being is because we found that a lot of doctors were not actually using our results. We spend all this time to do the impact testing. We get these results. We did a lot with it, and we give the results to the doctors, and they kind of just did their own thing. So we didn't really want to waste that time and that money. Instead, we are going to put everything through our corporation nurse, Brooke Wagner. She is kind of my point person when it comes to people that are out and when they can be cleared to come back. Now, that doesn't mean that she has to necessarily be cleared, or your athlete has to be cleared by Brooke. That's not what that is. Your doctor is definitely the best person to clear anybody that has an injury. But though that clearance will go through Brooke, and then she will send that to me, and I'll put that on to the coaches. So that's kind of how we're going to handle that this year. It's just a lot easier and also a lot less time consuming. So I'll be putting everything through her. Obviously, still get them checked by doctors if you think that there's something wrong. If any of the girls hit their heads or something, we'll sit them out. Definitely, they won't be doing anything until they do have some type of clearance. So if they're showing any symptoms or signs, we're going to make sure that they are not doing things until we can get that clearance. So that's what's changed with concussions. When it comes to grades, obviously we expect our athletes to be students first. I personally do all the grade checks for all athletes at the quarter and at the midterm. If any athletes have 2 F grades, they are immediately ineligible for athletics. This means that they are not allowed to participate in any contests and may not travel with the team. But we do allow them to practice because we think the team is a good influence on them and will help them kind of raise those grades up. I then recheck 2 weeks after that initial grade check to determine if they are eligible, and then if they are, they regain eligibility. If they're not, then there's 2 more weeks, and then I recheck at the next 2 weeks. The one thing I don't do is I do not let them immediately fix their grade if they get dinged for being ineligible. And the reason I don't do that is 2 reasons. One, that's really difficult for teachers. Expect the kids that are missing 10 assignments and they go and hand 10 assignments into a teacher and say, grade these, I need to be eligible, is not fair to our teachers, and I won't do that. And 2, it really teaches a bad thing to the kids. They need to make sure that their grades are good all the time, not just when it comes to a grade check. Because oftentimes if they hit that first grade check or whatever, you'll see that those grades kind of decline afterwards, because then they don't have to worry about the next grade check. So we check after the next 2 weeks because we want them to make sure those grades are good all the time. So when it comes to playing time, that's not really anything. It's not really the deal with cheer for the most part, but I do defer to my coaches with any decisions. If girls are missing practices and it's against the rules and they have to sit out for a quarter or whatever, I'll always defer to the coaches on things like that. They have the rules set in place, and we expect the girls to follow them. It's kind of how we look at things. If they're missing practices, it's tough to put them in on stunts when we're not really sure how they're going to do things. So I'll always defer to those coaches and make sure that, they're the ones that are with the girls all the time and they know the best. But as always, if you have any concerns, you can email Brianna or myself, and we'll get right back to you as soon as possible. So any concerns, don't hesitate. With conduct, we stress to our athletes that when they put on their uniforms, they are representing Yorktown, and they should take pride in that and be exemplary competitors as well as show exemplary sportsmanship. We kind of hope the same thing for the adults. So, we don't want adults yelling at officials. We don't want them, especially yelling at kids or coaches. We just want them to always do the right thing and kind of set the standard. Obviously, it's tough to police those things, but we kind of put that on the kids, and we like to see that in the stands as well. When it comes to COVID changes, obviously we have some changes this year due to the circumstances. The first thing is that we have DOE guidelines that were given to us, which include things like making sure we sanitize things and masks. And we have to follow those. They're not things that I or the superintendent or Mr. Dudley made up. They are things that were given from the DOE. And in conjunction with the state health department that we have and stuff like that. So you need to make sure the girls are going to be expected to do those things, and kind of that's how it's going to go. So like on the sidelines and things like that, they got to have masks. That's a big one. So we're going to do those things. We also are going to have things in place for tracing purposes, such as seating charts on buses, and different practice guidelines where we're making sure the girls are in different groups, just in case. So there are things that we're doing in conjunction with that doesn't really affect you guys, but just to know that there's things going on in the background that we are doing with DOE guidance. So another thing, this year we are limited to 500 people at events. That's a little different in the fall. But we have 500 people at events, and that includes players and officials. So I have to do the math on that, and then I will have so many tickets that are available at games. Do I ever think that that's going to happen at a sixth grade boys basketball game? No, it's not going to. I feel very confident that it's never going to affect a sixth grade boys basketball game. Will it maybe affect our large wrestling meets? Yes, it probably will, but you just never know. So I always try to say that. Also, if you're planning on going to some of those wrestling meets or whatever, that's kind of what we're looking at. But I don't think that we're going to have a lot of issues when it comes to the boys basketball games and getting fans in. We do like to have the social distancing and stuff, but, we'll get to that a little later. So also, tickets are first come, first serve. We're not going to hold tickets for people, so you can't call at 3 o'clock and say, hey, I've got 6 people coming. Okay, when you show up, you can pay for the tickets is kind of how we'll handle that. And obviously, we don't have all sports passes this season, so that's another thing. We are going to have concessions, but we're only going to really offer prepackaged food and drinks. So we're not going to have the hot dogs. We're not going to have the cheese that comes out of the machine and goes straight into your veins. So that's kind of what we're looking at there with concessions. For seating, we're going to have X's marked on the bleachers, and we're going to be handling it that way. We would like for you to socially distance, and we'd like for you to stay in family units, but it's not something that I can or will police. We just kind of hope that you guys will follow those guidelines. So that is kind of what I have. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Brianna, and she's going to talk a little bit, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end.
Okay. Hi, everyone. As he said, I'm Brianna. Coach Bree is fine. I sent the girls some packets. I know some of them weren't able to get to the office in time and grab those, so I tried to email everyone that sent me a text that they didn't get it. So in that packet, you would have found just an introduction of myself, my family. Like I said in that introduction, with me being in your girls' life multiple times a week, and as a mom myself, I just felt it might be nice for you to know who I am and who your girls are spending time with. So that was in there. And then you'll also find my bullying policy. You guys don't have to sign that unless you did pick them from the packet. They can just pick it up tomorrow and bring it to the first practice. So in that bullying policy, it's just not tolerated on the cheer squad. They don't have to like each other. I know they're all girls. I'm sure there's going to be cattiness at least once. There's been in every season, but when we're a family, like I said, we can always get through it together. We don't need to be mean. And if I see it, you're gone. It's just not worth it with today and making people feel bad about themselves and what can come of that. It's just not worth it. Also, I put in there a photo release form. Depending on what you guys had last year, we used an Instagram page because most of the girls had an Instagram account. I'll be making a new one, and just it'll be a private one. And on that page, it'll have the chants and the cheers that we learn at practice, because I know there's several girls who compete or have other, prior requirements or engagements to where they can't be at every practice. So I want them to at least have an opportunity to, on the weekends or on days that they can't miss, to go on that Instagram page and be able to watch and learn the chants and the cheers that we learned at practice. I just require that they're there at least half of the time, and just communicate with me. Obviously, for stunting and positioning and placements on the floor, they do need to be there so that they know where to stand. But that photo release form is just saying that it's just going to be used for the Instagram page for cheerleading purposes and nothing else. Also in there was the guidelines. Mr. Moody pretty much touched on the major ones. You can read through that. The girls will read through it and then sign that consent page. I don't think that there was anything in here that he didn't touch on that I felt was really important to talk about now. So just sign that consent form. Friday, the 6th, I don't know if Mr. Moody's still on here, but if we were, okay, did we get the YE place good?
Yes.
Okay.
Practices are good for Monday and Friday. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So our first practice will be this Friday at the YE, the Yorktown Elementary cafeteria gym area. Once I figure out where to enter, I'll let you guys know. I know there's a bunch of construction going on over there, but I'll shoot you guys a text once I figure out what entrance point to use, and that will be from 5 to 6. They're just hours. We're going to do them Mondays and Fridays at that location for the month of November. Just an hour will be enough time for us twice a week to get this stuff learned. Because once December and January and February start, our practices may go down to just once a week if we're lucky to get once a weekend, because there's multiple games through the week. So it can be kind of redundant being at games 3 days a week and then trying to practice 2 days. We don't want you guys to get burnt out, and that being there every day just increases chances of injuries. So I try to space it out to give them a breather and to have time to do homework and all that. So, and let me see what else is on here. So Friday, we will be issuing out uniforms. I will have a sign-up sheet. All of the uniforms on the back, on the tags, have a number. So that number will correspond with your daughter's uniform. So when they turn it in, I'll be able to check off who turned it in so we can keep track of whose is whose and all of that fun stuff. Also on Friday, they will be I'll send them home an order form to order like our warm-ups, the undershirts, the little shorts that go under the skirts, shoes and socks. For those, I'm not picky on the socks and the shoes. If they already have just plain white sheer shoes, that's fine with me. And plain white socks, like tall socks, that's fine. They don't need to all match. I just care that they're white. And then, so that'll all be done Friday. And then also the girls, I'm hoping to have them done by Friday. What I make for the girls is they'll have, we called them cheer Bibles when I was in school. It's just going to be like a little book that has the calendar, has a copy of the guidelines, and it'll have like the snack schedule. Sometimes parents would now with COVID, have to be pre-packaged snacks for the away games and some for home games. So they have a snack to eat. Have a sign-up sheet for that, and it'll have the uniform and how they do their hair for every game so that they don't have to be texting and freaking out the day of what are we supposed to do. Remember, it's in your book, so they can just look at it, have the date, the game, what all they need to wear, and how they need to look. They do need to bring that to every practice and every game. I do require that. It's just like a responsibility thing that I feel like we can implement, and because we do use it, we will write in it if a game changes, if we need to schedule practice, if there needs to be an adjustment, we'll have it. Also, going back to the order forms, duffel bags. If it's just black, I know some of them cheer at other games. If it's a black with like stuff on it from another competitive place, that's fine. They just need a bag to carry their book, extra shoes when we go outside. Try not to wear your actual cheer shoes when it's all snowy, it gets them dirty. I think that was it for me for this meeting. So yeah, just have, if they did get their packets, have them sign that photo release form and the bullying policy. If they didn't, it's fine. Just have them grab it at the office tomorrow and they can bring it Friday. So our first practice Friday at the YE Cafe gym area, whichever it's going to be, from 5 to 6. I think you all have my contact information. Call me, text me with anything. I'll answer as soon as I can. I'm really excited for this season. Everyone who tried out made it. They were all so good and showed so much potential. Even the ones who said that they've never done this before, I was very impressed with their ability. And keep it between us, but I helped judge another school, and y'all are just fantastic. They are way better. I'm so excited about our squad and what we're going to be able to accomplish this year. Last year, we had a couple girls who had some injuries that they didn't tell me prior to stunting, and it gave me a heart attack. So if they have had any injuries or if there's anything I should know before we stunt, please let me know so that I can incorporate that and work with them. I don't want to throw them up there and they're utterly terrified and don't want to tell me, because then they'll get hurt. And we probably won't start stunting until like the 3rd week of November. Give them a chance to kind of get to know each other, trust each other, because that's a huge part in that aspect of what we do. So I think I'm done, Mr. Moody. I don't think anything else.
You will be. So the cafe, when it comes to the YE, it's the same room. They eat in their gym, so it's kind of like it's kind of not super gym looking, but you know that's kind of what they have now until their new gym is built. So it'll be that main area. You guys will probably just go through the door with the arch at YE. So it'll be super simple. Does anybody have any questions? If so, you can just unmute yourself. If you don't want to talk in front of the group, you can email later as well. You don't have to ask questions now, but if you do, you go right ahead.
I have one question.
Yes.
When will the game schedules come out?
Game schedules are actually online. Yorktown Athletics, it's up and ready. I would check there, especially this year. That changes with my scheduler that I put everything in through. So when I change something on my schedule, it updates to the Yorktown website. So if we were to hand you a paper schedule right now, like if we would have done that in the fall, it would not be accurate when it came time for games, because we had games that were canceled. We have games that have been moved, especially in the fall. That happened a lot. So I anticipate that happening in the winter. It's just probably going to be that way. So I would check there. Obviously, I also update things at YMS Athletics on Twitter. If you don't follow that, you should, because everything gets updated immediately on there, especially if there's things that are happening. I know you follow, so yeah. But yeah, I update there first with anything that changes. But yeah, I would definitely get the schedule from online, and you can print that off there if you'd like, or save the link to your phone or whatever, or computer, and that's the best way to go. So
okay, now will our girls be going to away games?
That is something that we are currently deciding upon. I know that the high school's not, but their situation is different than ours, because our numbers are not going to be close to the games that they're going to. I know that the girls traveling in high school is to keep numbers down. We're not going to have to worry about that. Our numbers are going to be, 200 is going to be a good 6th grade basketball game. So I don't anticipate that being a problem, but that's not necessarily totally up to me. So right now, yes, but I'm still waiting on definite word for that.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Is Monday practice from 5 to 6 as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
For Friday, are they gonna probably need to have like an undershirt and some shorts on under their clothes to try on the uniforms?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, if possible, bring an undershirt and something to change into, because I don't know with the bathroom situation what that's going to look like fitting all of you guys in there. So if you guys have a tank top and shorts,
Yeah, you will have that access to that restroom that's right across the hall from where the cafeteria area is. So you'll have that, but it's probably best to just have the clothes. So
yeah.
anyone else? Okay. Well, I wanted to thank you all again for being here. Like I said, this once this is converted, I'm going to throw it up on YouTube, and I will tweet out the link to this video so you can go rewatch it if you'd like to, or people that missed can watch it for the first time. So once again, like I said, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all out on the court.
See ya.
See you later.
Bye.